Hey, welcome back everybody. So hey, just to get you caught up, at this point, this is the third video. You should have all of your stuff in your bin, and this is what we work out of. We don't leave this stuff laying on the table. That way we can keep our parts and we don't lose stuff. Then you should also, from the first video, you should have the nose cone glued together with super glue, and you should have your fins out and all sanded so that they're nice and smooth. So in this one, we are going to move on to the next step, which is going to be marking, tube marking. So we're going to be doing the stuff that's in this box right here. So we're going to do step 1 and step 2. All right. Now in here, they do say that you're supposed to use a door frame, but we're not going to use a door frame. We're going to actually use a piece of angle, which is just a metal 90-degree angle, and that'll help us. And so I'll show you in just a sec what that is. So now you can see we have an angle which has a 90-degree angle to it. It's just a long piece of metal that's bent. We have our body tube, and then you're going to need either a sharp pencil, or I'm going to use this mechanical pencil because these are pretty much always sharp. And if we look here, it says use one of the marking guides on page 1. Okay, so this is page 2. Let's flip back, and we're going to mark for 3 or 4 fins. So at this point, you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to use 3 fins, or are you going to use 4 fins? Either one works really well. The 4-fin one would probably be more stable and would fly a little bit straighter, whereas the 3-fin one, maybe, I don't even know. I would probably go with the one you think looks cooler, okay? And if you don't know which one, just Google 3-fin Estes Viking or 4-fin Estes Viking. If you Google those, you can look at them and see what you think. Okay, for this one, I think, I've already made a 5-finner and a 4-finner before in the last year. I'm going to use the 3-fin design. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your tube and we're going to put it right on top of this, right in the circle, and then you're going to have a friend put their finger while you're doing this and hold it down and double and triple check that the circle is perfectly lined up. Okay? And we're going to put marks at each position. Whoops. Okay, so for this part, I have a friend here who is putting their finger and putting some pressure down on the tube, as we can see. And I'm just going to go through. Okay, Kyle, it's tipping over. Do you see this? It's got to stay flat. Okay, forget about it. It's okay. I'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to roll solo on this one. I'm going to put one mark for the LL. And before we do this, remember guys, close is not good enough. This is an aerospace rocket, and your marks need to be as exact as possible. Like right where the edge of the arrow is, right at the front. Not close enough, but exactly where that is. Okay, and so you can see here, now we have 1, 2, 3, and all the way over here, 4. They're not going to be evenly spaced because these 3 will be evenly spaced. This one's for the launch lug, and we need all of those on there. Now let's extend our lines a little bit farther. Okay, so let's get this back up here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we have our marks, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a 4-fin design, you're going to be having 5 of them, 4 for the fins and 1 for the launch lug. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up. See that little mark? I'm going to line it up right at the edge of this angle and make sure the tube is secure against it. And we're going to make a pencil mark. And guess what? If you get done and the pencil mark looks not lined up, you need to redo it. So we're going to extend that. We'll make it a little extra long. It doesn't matter because we're going to paint over it. We just don't want it to be too short. So if it's too long, who cares? We can erase it, but probably not. We're just going to paint over it. So here's another line mark. My lead of my pencil is exactly lined up. And we go there for the launch lug. Here's another fin mark. And notice how I'm taking my time. Look, guys, if you're going to spend all this time, because this is a long project, you should spend just a couple of seconds extra making sure it's perfectly lined up. So I put my pencil down, looks like that's about right. And now we're finished. So now that we're finished, we have lines that go straight up and down the body of the rocket. Now, why do we have to use an angle? Because when we set this against the angle, we know that the lines are going to be straight. In the instruction booklet for the rocket project, they didn't use an angle. They use a door frame, which works too. We're not going to use that because it's dangerous and there's no reason to. The angle works better. You could do it at your table. Okay, so now in this video, we just finished this step and this step. So in the next video, we're going to get to the most difficult part, which is not that hard because we have a guide to help us, which is gluing the fins on. We're going to be using a little bit different method than what they do, but not a whole lot different, okay? So I'll see you in the next video.